Today in Behind the Brand, we're sitting down with Emily Bertram, Director of Marketing and Communications at the St. Cloud Area Chamber of Commerce and editor of the Business Central magazine. Emily's story is Central Minnesota through and through. Born, raised, and now leading marketing efforts for one of the region's most connected organizations. From juggling the unique challenge of marketing for a multi-city chamber to collaborating with Moxie on a fresh new website, Emily knows what it takes to bring people together, celebrate local success, and keep our business community moving forward. Welcome to Behind the Brand, the podcast for small business owners, solopreneurs, and aspiring entrepreneurs who are ready to start strong, stand out, and stay bold. I'm Taylor.
I'm Kelly.
And I'm Isabella, and we're part of the powerhouse team of marketers at Moxie Creative.
We're taking you behind the scenes to explore what it takes to build and grow a memorable brand.
Ready to get behind the brand? Let's dive in. Hello, Moxieverse. Welcome back to another episode of Behind the Brand. Taylor here, and I am joined by my trusty sidekick, Kelly Kane.
Hello.
And we have a very special guest today, Emily Bertram from the St. Cloud Area Chamber of Commerce. Emily, hi.
Hello. Thanks for having me.
Oh, we're so excited to have you. It kind of feels like a little bit of a long time coming. I think we've kicked Emily's name around for a while. And so
she finally penciled us in.
Yeah, it was no.
She's very
busy. We finally asked at the last hour and she's like, oh yeah. So appreciate that very much for you taking some time and sitting with us, because I know today is a really big day for you.
Yes.
Before the camera started rolling, we were talking about we have the big chamber annual celebration today, and you do a lot for that. So
Yeah. It's our annual meeting for the chamber where we also celebrate all of our volunteers, and I think we have about 240-ish tickets sold. So it's a big one for us, and very excited. It'll be a lot of fun.
Yes, we have a few Moxie members that are attending. I'm looking forward to that. But anyway, so before we get into all that you do and all that the chamber is, I'd love to just kind of start with a brief introduction of who you are and how you came to be at the St. Cloud Chamber.
Yeah. So I'm from the area. Originally, I grew up in Avon, just down the road, went to high school in Albany, and then went to St. Cloud State. So always kind of felt almost like a St. Cloud local, even though I never actually lived in St. Cloud other than in the dorms. But kind of was always in the area, and went to St. Cloud State for marketing. And out of college, ended up working for a couple different companies for a short period of time. There was a tech startup that eventually sold, and then a company down in Becker, and then ended up at Hatling Flint, which was a marketing agency that was in town for many years. And so I was there as an account manager for 2.5 years, where I kind of was able to learn a lot about all the different facets of marketing, as you guys know.
I did not know that you worked there.
Yeah,
okay, cool.
I worked for Bill for 2.5 years, and it was kind of in the transition of when they transitioned to a Flint group. So I would travel up to their Fargo office and their Duluth office quite a bit, and it was a lot of fun. That was my first time being introduced to Chamber as well. I started going to Chamber things as a representative of Hatling Flint, and fell in love with the networking side of it. Had a lot of fun. Just it was fun to like be in the know. It was a good way to like get in the know, and I was young, and so I felt cool that like I knew all these cool people, these cool business owners, and what was happening in the community. So that was my introduction into Chamber. And then when Hatling Flint transitioned to Flint Group, they shut down the St. Cloud office, and I wasn't planning on moving to Fargo or Duluth. My family is all here, and so I was kind of looking for what was next. And Gail Ivers, who was the VP at the chamber at the time, had heard that I was looking for a job and was kind of putting my feelers out there. And she made an announcement at a Chamber Connection, hey, Emily needs a job, somebody hire her. And it was amazing. I was like, that's the greatest thing that's ever happened to me, because I don't have to even submit applications. People are coming to me now. And so actually Julie Lunning, who was the executive director of Visit Greater St. Cloud, reached out to me and was like, we actually formed a new position. It's a marketing manager position, and we'd love to have you come in and talk about it. And I worked for the CVB, it's called, the Convention and Visitors Bureau, for 6 years, I think it was, as a marketing manager, promoting St. Cloud as a tourism destination, a place to host events, a place to visit and spend your vacation dollars and spend your nights in the hotels here. And so again, all depths and breadths of marketing from a tourism angle, which was really, really fun, working with the state tourism office and getting to kind of learn more about that side of St. Cloud, which is something that doesn't get talked about very often. And then through that role, technically the CVB is a division of the chamber. When Teresa Bonin was the president of the chamber in 2020, she retired, and Julie took her position over at the chamber. So about 2 years later, she was like, Emily,
I miss
you're
you.
coming with me. So ended up switching over to the chamber side. So it wasn't a huge transition. It's still in the same building right down the hall. Still get to see all my CVB friends every day. But now I'm in the chamber world, and I've been in this role as Director of Marketing and Communications since the summer of 22. So
Wow, I feel like it's been longer.
I know. I feel like that too, because I've been working with you, since 2021?
Very cool.
Right, exactly. I love that. One of the things that you said, like, oh, you grew up in Avon, and so, not technically St. Cloud, but it feels like, I think that's just the whole, like, central Minnesota community, right? Like, I don't live in St. Cloud, but I'm like, yeah, I live in St. Cloud.
Yeah,
It's
my
just,
hometown.
yeah. And I don't know if other areas are like that. I grew up kind of in southern Minnesota, and I don't think I ever would have been like, oh, I'm from Mankato.
Sure.
Like, no, I would have never said that. But
That's why it's the St. Cloud area Chamber of Commerce.
yeah, there's
Yes.
just there's something different to it. What are maybe some differences going from like the CVB to the chamber? I know they're kind of the same, like you said, they're in the same family, but was that an easy transition, hard transition?
as far as like who
Now she
are-
publishes a magazine.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so that's another part of it too. Getting to publish Business Central magazine has been a wild learning experience. But yeah, totally different audiences. We were largely in my role on the B2C side of things. So talking to the end user, talking to the consumers. When it came to marketing St. Cloud as a tourist destination, there was a little bit of marketing to event planners and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But the majority of it was more on the B2C side. And obviously with the chamber, it's 100% B2B. That's our bread and butter, is helping businesses grow and thrive and succeed. And there's definitely less on the marketing side of things and a lot more like communication. So a lot of it is about keeping our members informed and the best ways to keep them informed. How do they want to be talked to and reached, and how do they want to be marketed to? And then just making sure that we are that resource for any kind of business questions that people have, any advocacy issues they have. So it's definitely different, but it was a challenge. It was kind of being in the role at the CVB for 6 years. I had learned a lot, but I was kind of ready for the next challenge. And it's been a matter of sharpening my writing skills, working on more of my communication skills versus the social media networking side, which I still do a lot of that, but it's just very different in terms of how it's done.
Okay, you've brushed over just communications. It's a lot of communications
lot
with the
of
members,
communications,
right?
yeah.
I mean, you guys are having events every week. It's this event, this is going on, this meeting. I mean, it seems like you're very like, what happens if you miss a day?
We are so lucky to have an awesome team that we all work together, but I'm the only person in the marketing role. And then we have a director of programs and events, Laura, and her and I work really, really closely for events and promotion of those kind of things. We kind of bounce ideas off each other all day. Every day. We are down the hall from each other, so we just yell as loud. Everybody's like, okay.
She's great.
Yeah, we love Laura here.
Yeah, she's wonderful. And so, yeah, it's a lot of communications. We send a lot of emails. I wish there was some other way that we could communicate to people, but it just seems to be the easiest way to do it. We've played with a texting service. Obviously, we use primarily Facebook and LinkedIn in terms of social media. I'm really trying to grow our LinkedIn presence a little bit. So it's a matter of trying to hit them wherever they are, and people don't always read their emails. So how else can we reach them has been kind of a challenge.
And keeping that website up to date, you do that too, right?
Oof, yeah.
Yeah. That's what I mean about the events and everything.
Yeah, so we have a staff that manages the back end of the events and that kind of thing, but things change so fast, and as soon as one event's over, you're on to the next, so it's keeping up with all of it. It's a lot, but it's important because that's a huge resource for our members.
And so we know, because we are active chamber members, what some of the events are that the chamber hosts. But if someone is maybe listening and they do not know, could you share a little bit of insight on what those events are?
Yeah, so it kind of falls into 3 buckets. We talk about networking, professional development, and advocacy. So as far as networking goes, we have a networking meeting that takes place every single week. It's called Chamber Connection every Friday morning, where we see an average of like 130 people in attendance. Everybody gets to stand up and say their name and where they work, which I remember the first time I went to one, I was like, absolutely not. I am not doing that. Get that thing away from me. But now it's just an awesome group of people who start off every Friday with high energy. We also, when you're a member of the St. Cloud Chamber, you also get to be a member of the Waite Park and Sauk Rapids Chamber. It's all one membership. And so those each have monthly meetings that are more networking focused. And then, of course, our special events are all focused around networking. We have a business awards luncheon, a golf tournament, our annual chamber celebration tonight. We actually host the Midwest's largest indoor farm show every February. I think it's our 58th year this year, something like that.
Crazy.
So excited for that. And then professional development wise, we have a ton of different programs. We have have a monthly lunchtime learning, we call it, where we bring in a speaker on a different topic every month, and ends up being an opportunity to network, but also learn a variety of different topics. We have our leadership program, which is one of the Chamber's most amazing programs. It's a 9-month program that kind of helps you learn about the community, supervisor development training. So we have a wide variety of professional development opportunities. And I'd be remiss if I didn't mention that our Action Summit is coming up on October 30th. I don't know when this is airing, but that is kind of our
Next week.
Perfect, yeah.
I haven't heard of that
Summit.
one.
Yeah, it's our third annual. We initially called it our DEI Summit,
Yes.
and we're kind of reworking the name of it, but really the focus is inclusivity and belonging in the workplace, kind of leadership through polarizing times, and it's going to be really good. So October 30th.
Is that local?
It is
Yeah.
local, yeah. It's actually at the Boy Scout office
Okay.
in Sartell, so highly recommend checking that out. And then the third arm of our events is our advocacy. So government affairs is a huge part of what chambers in general do. We host an evening at the Capitol. We host a session preview and session wrap up with our area legislators to kind of talk about things that happened throughout the session. We take an annual trip to Washington, D.C. with members, and got to go on it a couple years ago, and it is so cool how you get access to these federal legislators that you wouldn't get otherwise.
Yeah.
You can't just go there and talk to Amy Klobuchar, but you can when you're with the chamber, so it's pretty cool. And then we host monthly government affairs events too, so that keeps our members informed of things that are going on and policies that are coming down the line and that kind of thing. So it is a lot.
So much.
And you market all 3 buckets.
Yeah.
Business
noticed.
after hours.
Oh, yeah.
The
That's
business
one of our
expo
favorites.
showcase. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
I
a
mean,
lot.
it's-
So many things you can't even remember them all.
Yeah.
I want to see
Should've
your
brought a
deadline
notebook.
calendar of what you have to do.
No, you don't.
And then Business Central magazine.
And then
yeah.
Business Central is a whole nother thing.
So what is Business Central?
Business Central magazine was started in 2000. It is our magazine as a chamber, basically, but really, if you read it, you might not even realize that it's a chamber magazine. The idea is that it's a resource for business owners and upper level business professionals to learn more about a wide variety of topics. So every issue has tools that help people learn how to manage their business better, whether it's learning how to read your financial statements or learning how to interpret your social media analytics or whatever it might be. Every issue has a cover story on a local business. We've featured I actually had to do an index of them the other day because we didn't have it all in one place for some reason. It was overwhelming, like who hasn't been on the cover? It's amazing, just like the Coburns and the Burnix and like all these big names, they've all been on the cover.
It is
over
really
the years.
cool. I
Yeah.
always, when we get the issue for that 2-month period or whatever,
Yeah.
it is really cool to see, okay, who's the selected business. And,
Yeah.
Sometimes it's larger entities. Other times it is like these really small businesses that have just been
really a
foundational
marketing
in the
business.
community. It's really cool.
What was that?
That's it's really a marketing business.
But we get asked to do stuff. Emily
We write. Yeah, we help
just
Emily
asked me
write.
to
Yeah, you guys-
write one for the next issue.
She did. I forgot even to look at my metric one. I forget.
It
all
will
the
be
time.
in the November one. I had to hold it first face.
Oh, that's okay. Good. I didn't
You
miss
didn't
it.
miss it, yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah, so it comes out every other month, which
Yeah.
we're always working 2 months ahead on it. And so I'm trying to, I think right now we're on deadline. We proof on Monday. So it's, for the November issue. So it's always working ahead and assigning articles. And
Did you have any experience with a publication like that before?
I had experience writing for SEO
Sure.
and for blogs and that kind of thing, but journalism is very, very different. I've always enjoyed writing, and I've always thought that I knew what I was doing, but I've learned a lot. Unfortunately, Gail Ivers, who I mentioned before, she's the one who started the magazine. She still helps me proof and
Oh, that's
helps
great.
me
That's
brainstorm.
nice.
Yeah, so she
Nice.
comes in and helps proof every issue, and I've told her that she's not allowed to stop doing that because
Yeah. Oh,
she's
that's-
my security blanket.
Well, yeah, it's nice to
Yeah.
get trained in a little bit, huh?
Yeah. It's been a smooth transition, and I've learned so much.
Because that's a full-time job plus.
It's almost 50% of my time for sure. Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
I don't know. I guess from all the events you just listed, how you're finding 50% of your time spent on a magazine. You make me feel like,
Yeah, Taylor, you thought you were busy. Look at Emily.
So one of the other things that I just kind of wanted to touch on before we jump to another topic, and this is also kind of goes back to what Kelly said about why it's St. Cloud area. So what does that look like marketing to different communities, but like the same community.
I feel like we're not the only organization that does that. There's the GSDC, the Greater St. Cloud Development Corporation, and St. Cloud, the city itself even calls itself St. Cloud Greater. And
Yeah.
so it's definitely kind of a feeling that this area has, but it does have its different caveats. So the fact that we, under our chamber umbrella, have the Waite Park and Sauk Rapids chambers, we really try to make sure that those honor the communities that they represent. And so with those monthly meetings, they take place either at a Waite Park or a Sauk Rapids business, and they have to have a Waite Park or Sauk Rapids caterer even. Like we try to make it as catered to that town as possible. We'll bring in the school boards from those different areas to talk about their cities and what they have going on at the school. We'll bring in city representatives. Each of them hosts their State of the City address through the chamber every year. And so we know that while we all are an area, we all have our distinct identities. And there's amazing things happening in all three communities. And so just making sure that we recognize that there are differences, but also like, do you actually know when you cross the boundary into Sauk Rapids? I don't know. Maybe that one's easy because you cross the river. But yeah, Waite Park, I don't know.
But Sartell has their own, so they've
Sartell
chosen
does.
not to be part of it, right? And there's no St. Joe, or they do their own thing too. So kind of, it's just those three.
And we have a ton of businesses that are members from not just those three communities too. We have a lot of St. Joe businesses. We have even as far as like Rockville, Cold Spring, Foley, so the whole area is represented in our membership. And I think it speaks value to just like the amount of commerce that goes on in this area, that we're a big community. And so there's value in being a member, even if you're not physically located here.
It trickles out.
Yeah.
I mean, all the businesses and stuff, even, in Western Stearns County.
We even have a few like metro businesses that are members just because they want to have a presence in our community, which I think speaks a lot about what they see happening in our community.
Yeah.
They want to be a part of it. So,
Right.
Absolutely. I don't have any other experience with any other chamber organization, so I don't know if they all operate the same, but it does feel like I don't know, it feels different. It feels good. It feels like there's something.
We're a regional center.
Yeah.
I mean, my first job was in Bemidji, and they went out a little bit too. I mean, but it's when you're a regional center like that, you kind of have to.
Yeah, for sure.
But I think St. Cloud does it the best.
Yes.
Well, yeah.
Duh. Well, they have Emily. Of course they do. So talking about businesses and becoming a member, how would someone get involved in the chamber if they were interested?
Yeah, our sales manager person, his name is Brad. He's phenomenal. He would be the first point of contact for something like that. But really spend some time on our website, our beautiful, beautiful website.
Oh, we'll talk about it.
Spend some time on there and just kind of learn about all the different things and get a feel for it. It's a really good representation of who we are. I mean, we're a happening bunch, as we like to say. Spend some time on there, and then there's a way to contact us and get started if you really want to become a member. But that first step would be meeting with Brad and just checking out a meeting. You can actually come to 3 meetings that don't require tickets, 3 of our networking meetings at no cost. Like you don't have to be a member to come for free. And so that's a good way to try it out. Come to a chamber connection or whatever it might be and get a feel for what it's like and how exciting it is. And then eventually we'll hook you, and then we'll get you on a committee, and then we'll,
and then you're in for life.
And then you're in. Yeah.
Yeah. Once you start going to those Friday morning meetings, you're never leaving.
Yeah.
Right, Abby? Oh, funny. Okay, so we just touched about the website, so it's a perfect time to kind of segue to that. So we don't often get to talk to guests that also have marketing experience, or maybe I don't want to use the word value because I don't want to discredit the rest of our guests and to say that they don't value marketing, but you see things differently. You see things with the same eyes that we see things. So we were able to help the chamber with their website last year. Last year, did we do it? Yeah. All the years run together. Yep. So what was kind of the decision maker, not necessarily for working with us, but that you needed to update your website?
Well, we launched a campaign in 2023 that was our We Are Happening campaign. And kind of through that, we saw there was such an opportunity to take this even further, take the branding and the colors and take it even further. Our color palette and font usage was fine, and it served a great purpose for a really long time. But sometimes you reach that point where you're ready for a refresh, and our website just wasn't representative of who we were saying. We were saying we were happening. Was outdated, and so it just wasn't representative of what we were saying we were. And so it was time to kind of take a look at how to bring it up to the next level and to make it, that first impression matters so much when you have somebody who is thinking about joining a chamber or even moving to a community. A lot of times we get people who are just moving to the area, not necessarily going to be a member, but they just want to see what the chamber has going on. And for us to have a good representation of the area was important. And then also, I think a big part of it was just user experience. It was a little clunky. There were parts of it, even the menu structure was bad, and it just was confusing. I would have things that I couldn't find, and if I can't find something, that's not good. So yeah, we did a little bit of research, and I have to give credit a little bit to our marketing committee. So something I didn't mention about the chamber is that a lot of what we do is aided and ran by committees. We have
volunteers,
almost 20 different volunteer committees. One of them is our marketing committee. And so it's a group, one of the Moxies, Mo is our vice chair this year. And so it's a group that gets together once a month and just kind of works through brainstorming new ideas for the chamber. We work with different committees to help with what they have going on. I think we're meeting with the farm show committee soon to talk about marketing for that. But the committee gave a lot of feedback on what the website should be, what the website should look like. And so we had that feedback from a member perspective, and we were able to capitalize on that. And you guys took it to the next level and really made it come to life. I mean, it was a refresh more than like a complete restructure, but the bones are okay. It needed to be brought to
and sometimes that's all that needs to be done, right?
It's a big site, though.
Yeah,
it's huge, and it has to integrate with our CRM, and that's a
your
whole
membership
nightmare.
thing,
It's a struggle, and you guys, it looks so
Michael
much
did
better.
a great job.
He's
Yeah,
been
that was one of my favorite
phenomenal.
sites that we did last year. I love that. And there's been things that I'm like, remember how we did that for the chamber site? Like, can we do something, obviously something different, but like something similar? I like the way that looks. It's a really, really fun site. Do you feel like the response from members and the community was very positive on that Twitch?
Yeah. I mean, even on we can see it in the number of become a member clicks that we get. That form has been busier than it's ever been before.
Because we can find it.
Because we can find it. Yeah, exactly. And so it's definitely been received really well, whether it's from members or from the community. So.
Yeah. And it can be tough with an organization like yours with budget and everything, right? And so met you on budget and tried to help out our chamber. It was really important to us.
Yeah, because we're chamber members too, and we have seen so much value in being part of the chamber. When we went through our transition a few years ago, that was a really big piece of it. And how can we be even more involved, or continue our involvement? And you've been just a really great advocate of our team since then, and that's very much appreciated. So one of kind of the last questions that I want to ask you is more just around community and what that means to you and to the chamber. Being involved in our community and cultivating that is really important for us here at Moxie. And like I just said, chamber has been a huge part of that. So how do you see, the value in that for businesses?
St. Cloud is unique in a lot of ways. We hear people say negative, positive things about St. Cloud, whatever it is, and it's like no city is completely alone in how it handles things. And so there are things that obviously perception-wise about St. Cloud that you hear a lot on social media or because it gets good clicks or whatever it might be. But at the end of the day, St. Cloud is made up of so many doers and people who...
small businesses.
And small businesses and nonprofits and people who support those nonprofits. And it's incredible the amount of manpower that's behind, or women power, or man or women power, behind so many of these different causes in the area. I would say, I don't have the numbers off the top of my head, but one of our largest buckets of categories of members is nonprofits. And those nonprofits need businesses to survive. Like those are the ones who are supporting their missions. Those are the ones who are volunteering on their boards. The business owners are the ones donating to sponsorship. And what we see is so much philanthropy in the business community, because people are just hard workers and they genuinely care about the things that they believe in St. Cloud. And I don't know if it's unique to St. Cloud, but I think it's pretty special what we have here, the ecosystem of giving back and caring about your neighbors. Obviously, times change and the demographics of St. Cloud have always changed and ebbed and flowed. And so as we kind of watch that progress over the next decade or whatever, it'll probably look totally different 10 years from now. But at the end of the day, we're a big town that feels like a small town because we have that sense of community here, and there's something special about it. I don't know, there's something that I don't think I've heard from other other chambers.
As a business owner, I can speak to the power of chamber. When I started my first agency in 2009, first thing we did was join the chamber, because you're nobody unless you're a chamber member, right? I mean, we didn't even have a lot of opportunity to be involved, but I just knew being a member is important, because chamber members do business with other chamber members, and it is important. And we're more involved now, and that was important to me, to be involved and to stay involved. But I agree with Emily that it's different. You can do it. You can buy as many ads or billboards as you want, but I really feel like networking is very, very important in St. Cloud. Like you said, it's a big town, but it's a small town. And so when we have business owners come to us and wanting to do campaigns, one of the first things we ask them if they're a chamber member. And they're like, oh, we don't know if we see the value or if we can be involved. I'm like, be in the directory even if you can't go, because it's important. I've lived other places and I've noticed that it is the networking is very, very important. But you can't fake it either. You have to be involved and you have to get involved. And yes, that takes time, which is money, but I think it comes back to you manyfold.
It works if you work it.
Right.
And I think just in talking about all the different events and things that we have, you don't have to do it all,
Right.
but there should be something that can work for you in some way. We have people who are on our marketing committee, for example, who don't even really go to anything else for chamber. They just really enjoy being a part of that committee and caring. Or we have people who only go to Friday mornings or who only go to business after hours. It's kind of whatever works for you, but it does work if you work it.
That's one thing that I love about it so much, is that I do feel like there is a little bit of something for everybody. Like, I live 40 minutes away. I'm not waking up at 4:35 on Friday mornings to make it to town on time. I have done it a few times when we have clients presenting, but it's very rare. So like, that's not for me. But I love going to the Waite Park Chamber meeting. And if I can make the Sauk Rapids one work, I'll go to that one too. If I can go to business after hours, I like to do that as well. So I think that's a really nice thing that you guys do, is you give everybody opportunity to do something.
Yeah.
Plenty of events, as we spoke.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and we do, and we sponsor like kind of the same annual things.
Yeah.
And
We love the golf tournament.
Yep.
We love that you love the golf tournament.
Bring our Bloody Marys.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Well, Emily, this was such a great little conversation. We love talking about the chamber. We're huge supporters of you and all that you're doing. So thank you again for joining us and all that you do to build a stronger, more connected business community in central Minnesota. And if you are out there listening and you want to learn more about the St. Cloud Chamber, where can they go?
Yeah, you can go to stcloudareachamber.com. Long URL, I know.
Just Google it.
But just Google it. St. Cloud. Make sure you hit St. Cloud, Minnesota, not St. Cloud, Florida. They get calls from us every once in a while. But check us out, and I'm always happy to answer questions as well. My information's online.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, thank you again, and we will see you next week.
Thanks. Bye.
Thanks for tuning in to this week's episode of Behind the Brand. If you liked this episode, share it with a friend. If you didn't, share it with an enemy. To keep up with us, follow along on our socials. Links are in the show notes below.